What's up everyone, Dano here, and today I'm going to bring you a RuneScape fight kiln guide. Now I'm going to show you my backpack and my worn equipment. I'm going to zoom in on it. If you have to, pause the video. You don't have to use my gear setup. You can use extreme potions instead of overloads, but this is basically what you want to bring with you for the fight kiln. Like I said, if you need to pause it, pause the video. Another thing, you always want to bring a sign of life, because in case you mess up, it'll basically give you another chance. So always, always, always bring a sign of life. Another thing too, you don't want to use the aura that I have. It's obviously going to do nothing for you in the fight kiln. You want to use the vampirism aura. That way you can restore some health. And then right here is where you want to stand for most of the fight kiln, because it's pretty much a safe spot. It's gonna force all the enemies to come to you one by one, and you're gonna see in just a second what I mean by that. It's gonna basically funnel all the enemies in one by one into you, making you take less damage, and it's gonna make the fight kiln so much easier. But you can only do this for like the first 20 waves or so. And I'm also, after the first wave or so, I'm gonna speed the video up just to show you, like, you know, all the waves, but at the same time cut down the time, because I doubt anybody wants to sit through a whole hour of the fight kiln. So that way you're not gonna sit through the entire like hour or so. It's gonna be cut down in half. But I am gonna slow it down to normal speed when I get to important things that I need to show you, like important waves. Like, that way I can explain to you just how to get through the wave as easy as possible. Some things I would also suggest: if you don't have a kiln cape, obviously you don't have a kiln cape if you're watching this video. So what I would suggest is any skill cape, obsidian cape, you know, anything of that nature. That way you can still get a fairly good defense, even though the kiln cape is the best. What I would suggest, like I said, any skill cape, but preferably like a prayer cape, or like a melee cape, or whatever, you know, whatever you choose to use. Another thing too, you always want to bring a pickaxe. There are some enemies down here that you need the pickaxe to break through their armor before you can damage them. As you can see, I also picked up crystals. The crystals appear in the middle of the map, and pretty much what they are, there's a multitude of crystals. There's the invulnerability crystal, the restoration crystal, ranged crystal, strength crystal, you know, you name it. The only crystals I suggest picking up are the invulnerability and the restoration crystals. The other crystals, what they do is they raise your stats like crazy, but they have your defense. So if you use one of those crystals, be prepared to take a lot of damage. It will speed up the fight kiln, but you will burn through resources. So unless you're going for a speed run, that's the only time I would suggest picking those up. If you want to do it more casual like I do, then don't pick those up and don't use them. The invulnerability crystal, what it does is it'll make you invulnerable for like 10 seconds or so, which is more than enough to, you know, just take out some waves later on in the fight kiln. The restoration crystal will heal you to full health no matter where you're at. So you could be down to like 100 or 200 HP and use that, and you'll be you'll have full HP. Another thing too, you don't have to use shark. I use shark because that's what I get for free, and that cuts down my cost on doing things like this, like Slayer. So if you can use rocktails, use rocktails. In this monster here, this is a dill. This is what you need your pickaxe equipped for. Like you saw, I just broke his armor, and now I'm going to switch back to my dry, and I'm going to just wreck him, because these guys can do serious damage to you if you don't kill them quickly. And you'll see later on in the video what I mean by that, because there is a wave where they will just like make you burn through resources. Another thing too, when you're doing this with melee, I always suggest destroying the magic users first, even though I'm not doing that right now. I would just kind of, just killing things. But to make you take less damage, always focus on any mages first. Anything that's attacking you using magic, focus on them first. That way it cuts down on the damage you're taking. Then move on to the rangers and then the melee guys. And the reason why you want to do it in that order is because the majors will take your health down, and then if you turn on Soul Split, if you have Soul Split, which obviously will need 92 prayer to get, but if you have Soul Split, you're going to want to turn that on after fighting the mages, after they take you down, and then you want to turn that on and attack the rangers, mainly because that's going to heal all that back that you just lost fighting those mages. And that's going to cut down on your resources that you use tremendously. And then, like I said, the melee guys you really don't have to worry about because, I mean, obviously your defense to melee is going to be good, especially if you're using Torva. And the reason why I like to wear Torva when coming down here is because of the health boost. It puts me over, I have 98 health and it puts me over 10,000, making it to where Jad can't KO me. So he would have to hit me twice in order to KO me, which is a very good thing, because if I mess up on my prayer switches, I still get a chance even if he does hit 7 or 8,000 and come close to killing me. He can, like I said before, he can like KO you if you're not using protection prayers. So if I forget to use a prayer switch, or if I don't do it in time, that'll give me another chance on top of my sign of life. Another thing too, the Leviathan ring, what it does is it cuts down on the damage you take. It'll have damage like every so often. So that's another thing you want to bring with you if you don't have a Leviathan ring. I mean, there are better rings, but that's just what I suggest for the bare minimum. Now that we're at wave 10, this is the first Jad fight, and what you're going to want to do is, if you're using melee like I am, you're going to want to turn on protect from melee or deflect from melee right away. But in this case, he decided to use a magic attack first, so you're going to want to prayer switch to magic, and now you're going to want to go through your prayer switches accordingly. Don't focus on your damage, because what that's going to do is take your eyes off of the way he attacks. And if you are able to do the fight kill and you know how he attacks, you know how to do the prayer switches. So I'm not going to go into great detail about that, but if you haven't done this with melee, what you want to do is when he starts doing his magic or range attack, you're going to want to wait till that attack is over after doing your prayer switch to switch back to melee. And you always want to switch back to melee, because normally after he does a magic or range attack, he's going to go right for a melee attack. So you're always going to want to switch back to melee no matter what. Another thing too, you definitely want to get the amulet that I have, the Amulet of Souls, because what that does is it doubles how much Soul Split heals, making you last longer in this kiln. Like I said before, the Vampirism Aura, if you can get that, which I don't have yet, that's my next investment, is the Vampirism Aura. That way I can do kilns using less resources, making it more profitable for me. Another thing too, I keep all my prayers for doing the fight kiln, I keep them on my action bar, mainly because I can click, as you can see, I click my abilities. I don't use buttons or anything like that unless I'm in PvP. So that makes it easy for me to hurry up, use an ability, then go to my prayer switches, go and use an ability. It makes it really easy to do that, and then I keep my curses up there in the corner so that if I want to, I can turn on Soul Split. Another thing you want when doing this, I would suggest, if you've never done it before and you want to use melee, bring a shield. That way you have more defense. The only reason why I'm dual wielding is for a faster run. And there's another crystal of invulnerability. There's a total of 3 crystals of invulnerability and 3 restoration crystals, which will help out tremendously. So that's why I said you want to keep 2 free inventory spaces. And that is crucial because you don't want to waste any resources, obviously. Another thing too, when these bigger guys pop up, what you want to use, the Tokar, Kal, Kadzet, whatever the fuck they're called, when they pop up, you want to turn on deflect magic. Otherwise, you're going to take some serious damage because they hit hard. And you don't have to use Ice Asylum, which is the healing ability that I use. The only reason why I use that is because I do a lot of grouping things. But if you have Guthix's Blessing, use it. It's so much better than Ice Asylum, and it'll heal you more. But like I said before, the only reason why I have Ice Asylum is because I do a lot of group stuff. I like to do stuff with my clan. I find it more fun that way. That's the only reason why I don't really use Guthix's Blessing, which I probably should use when doing this because it'll save me a lot of time. And as you can see right there, right when I noticed that there was one of these guys on the field, I immediately turned on my protection from magic, and that's the guy you want to focus on. You want to kill these bigger guys first, then focus on the next majors, because these smaller guys don't do as much damage as the bigger guys do. The bigger guys can seriously hit you hard. Like I said before, you really want to make sure you take them down. What else can I explain to you about the kiln? Pretty much, it's really simple. Like I said, I'm speeding up a lot of this because it'll take the average person an hour. If you do it the safe way, which you can still see even with the board smaller, you can still have that safe spot. So up until wave 20, you're able to use that safe spot, and that's going to save you a ton of resources. And like I said, if it's your first time, you definitely want to use that safe spot to your advantage. Another thing too, you don't have, like I said before, you don't have to use my gear setup. You can use bandos and up. It does not matter. You could use Malevolent if you have the stats for it. But Torva is what I highly suggest when doing this melee. If you're gonna do this with magic, I suggest using subjugation robes and a staff of Armadillo or whatever the hell that's called, because it's all non-degradable, and you still you can get through the kiln really easily. I got through the kiln. I did my first kiln run with magic with 79 magic, and I just tore through it, and it wasn't that hard. Same thing with range. I would suggest Armadillo with a crystal bow if you're around like 70-80 range. You can get through the kiln with 78-79 range, and I did it with Armadillo with a crystal bow, and I got through it just fine. You know, I burned through a lot of resources, but I still got through it with that low stats. So if you want to try doing that with magic and range, I suggest doing it. But if you're going to do it with magic, use the blood spells from the ancient spell book. That way you can heal, and it'll make healing so much easier, and you're not going to burn through resources because the blood spells will heal you. Another thing too, we're about to get to the next Jad fight, and then once this Jad fight's over, that safe spot's going to be gone, so you're going to be stuck there in the middle. And like I said before, he's going to spawn in this corner, so hurry up, turn Protect from Melee on, or Deflect Melee, preferably Deflect. That way, when he does do damage to you, you can hit him for quite a bit of his health. But I totally forgot about this Dill, so we're going to hurry up and break his armor and kill him, and then we're going to fight the Jad. I totally forgot that he was on this wave, so, you know, my mistake. I apologize for that. But anyway, now that he's dead, now the next Jad's going to pop up. Hurry up, turn Deflect from Melee on, or Protect, and, you know, stand really close to where he's going to be at. That way when he pops up, you can hurry up and attack him. As you can see, I'm sitting here on the ready, and he's going to use his magic attack first again, and hurried up, and right when that's over, I switch back to melee. And there's his range attack. Hurry up, switch, now I'm back to melee. You know, you just focus on your prayer switches, and he should not be hard to kill whatsoever. And now that this wave's 20 is over, you want to turn off your protects, and because what's going to happen is it's going to go to another cutscene, and then it's going to waste your prayer. So you want to turn off your prayers as soon as you kill that thing, which obviously I didn't have a chance to do, but that's alright. And as you can see now, all the safe spots are gone, and it's going to keep getting smaller until it's, you know, there's barely anything left to really fight on. But on this wave, you're gonna have a shitload of these guys to kill. So just turn Soul Split on if you have Soul Split. And if not, use Protection from Melee or Deflect Melee, and just go to town on fighting them. Use as many abilities as you can that attack multiples, and I mean, like I said, it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to speed this up until the next really important thing, and that way, you know, like I said, you don't have to sit through a full hour of this. I'm going to try to cut this time down as much as I can, because I doubt anybody really wants to sit through an hour of me in the fight kiln, because that would kind of suck to watch. So I hope this guide helps you. If not, well, I tried. So as you can see, I haven't even used any food yet, and I'm already on wave 22 out of 36. I'm almost out of my first overload, but that's not a big deal. I mean, I still have plenty of prayer potions, or not prayer potions, prayer restore potions. And those are what you really want to bring with you, because what those do is they will restore your prayer over time. With the food, I would also suggest bringing Ceradomin Brews if you can use overloads. Obviously, I'm not using Ceradomin Brews, but the reason being is because Ceradomin Brews, you can have 4 or 6 doses, which is 4 or 6,000 health you can heal with just one flask or one vial, versus only 2,000 with a shark. But like I said, I fished the sharks specifically, and they work just fine for me down here in the kiln. Now, if I really wanted to go for a speed run, then yes, I would take Ceradomin Brews. But this is just, you know, I'm trying to show you guys how to get through the fight kiln with pretty much the basic stuff, basically. Like you could substitute those overloads with extreme potions or super potions. Those will work just fine. Now, when fighting waves like this, what you want to do is you want to run all the way to the corner. Then you want to run back to the center. That way you can funnel these guys one by one. That way they're not all attacking you at once. As you can see, they get stuck right by that rock in the middle, which is really good. And it makes your life so much easier here in the fight kiln. And every time you get a wave like that, that's what you want to do. Just run to the corner, turn Protect from Melee on, Deflect from Melee on, and run back to the center. And that way you get them hung up on the center center rock, or whatever the hell you want to call it. Gotta take a drink of pop here. Oh, that's good pop. Love that stuff. Pepsi all the way, or Coca-Cola. I like Coca-Cola too. Anyway, as you can see, we're getting through this pretty quickly, and at the end of the fight kiln, since I already have all the kiln capes, I'm just gonna take the uncut onyx. That way I can at least make some profit off of doing this. And as you can see, like, the first thing I go for is that magic scorpion-like thing. And now, normally I would go for the ranger next, but the melee guys are kind of just like hanging out. And now that I've seen that there was another magic user, I'm gonna run after him, because you really want to take him out first. Another thing too, I think it's this wave. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But there's a wave where you get nothing but dills. And that wave is going to be what really takes up a lot of your resources, because you're trying to break their armor, and they're just hitting you for like 1,500, 1,600 damage over and over again. And you're sitting there, you're trying to heal, you're trying to break their armor, and it gets kind of annoying. That's the only wave that I really hate. Now, a lot of people will be like, oh, well, the double Jad wave is the worst. No, that's actually a very easy wave, and I will show you just how to get through that wave with ease. I think this is the wave with all the dills, which is the hardest wave for me. Yes, this is the wave. Pretty much what you want to do is you want to focus, you want to run all the way into this corner, get that dill hung up on this guy. That way it only funnels one dill towards you, and that way you can focus on him. Then you're going to focus on the other one that's by itself. Then you're going to focus on the rest. So once you get this guy down, you're gonna equip that pickaxe, and you're gonna go to town on breaking that dill's armor. And and you can use abilities to break their armor faster. So if you can use abilities like I just did, use them. Now that the armor's broke, switch back to your weapon and just try to take him out as quickly as possible. Now we're gonna go to this corner where there's another Dill by himself. We're gonna equip that pickaxe. We're gonna use whatever we can to that hits multiple times to break that armor, and then we're gonna take him out as quickly as possible. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna want to go towards the center. We're gonna want to get these guys' attention. Go towards the center, funnel them down, and you're gonna want to take them out one by one. So we're gonna go after this guy here, because he's the only one that's wide open. And as you can see, he just hit me for 1,700. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to eat a shark. He just hit me for another 1,800. This is why this is the hardest possible wave for me, is because they constantly hit you hard. And now that I broke his armor, I'm gonna hurry up and try to take him out as quickly as possible. And see, they hit you for almost 2k damage. This is why this is the hardest wave for me. This could be the easiest wave for you. It's really based on player. I just personally have a hard time with them. Mainly, it might be because I use a rune pickaxe, but normally I break their armor fairly quickly. But for some reason, for me, they like to use their special over and over and over again. As you can see, now that we already took out most of them, the rest of these guys are going to be fairly easy. And I'm going to another 1,700. You see, I'm burning through most of my resources, and another 1,800. And they constantly, like, it's just, I don't know if it's just me. It could be for you guys too, but they just like to use that special on me. And this is, like I said, this is when I'm going to burn through most of my resources, and I think this is going to be it. I mean, the rest of the fight's not very hard. And another 1,800. They just like that special, like I said before. So pretty much the key to this level wave is to keep your health up and make sure you're focused on breaking that armor and taking them out as quickly as possible. Now this wave, like I said before, it's all these guys. So turn protection from melee or deflect melee, run to the corner, run back over here, and start taking them out one by one. If you can do that, you're golden. You're only going to have one of them attacking you at a time. And now, even though I lost all that health on the last wave, I'm going to make that all back or not all of it, a good portion of it back by fighting these guys one by one, because they're not going to do a whole lot of damage to me because of my armor bonuses from Torva. So, as you can see, I'm slowly building my health back up. And hopefully by the end of this, I can have enough adrenaline to use Ice Asylum, but we'll see what happens with that. And that's normally what I would do, but I doubt that I'm going to get there, because I'm only at like 73%. Yep, see, I wasn't going to get there, so I just decided I was going to eat a shark. Got to 95%. Right there's another magic crystal, but then I forgot which corner he spawns in, so I just turned on protection from magic, and then, which was a good idea because he used his magic attack first. So right now, you just want to focus on your prayer switches, focus on keeping an eye on how he attacks. As you can see, you just do your prayer switches. Don't worry about anything else on this floor. Focus on Jad, and you'll get through it no problem. And then once he's dead, now you just do what you did before, run into the corner, and take them down one by one. If you can do that, you will be fine. This minigame is very easy once you know what you're doing. Like I said, I made this so that I could help you guys out. I have fun doing the kiln. Now we're going to get into the harder waves. And what's going to happen is Jad's going to spawn in different spots than he did before. And I'm going to show you those spots here in a second. Now your first wave is going to be all the rangers, and then I think it's all melee guys, then all magic guys. And then it's a Jad fight, and then after that it's nothing but Jad fights. And all the way to the final boss. And there's another crystal. I think that was a ranged crystal. I'm not going to pick that up because obviously I'm not using ranged. But I still have a ton of resources. Yep, it's all melee guys. I was right. And then the next one's going to be all magic guys. So what you want to do pretty much is you just want to turn on your protection prayers. Normally I would run to the corner then run back, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to try to take them all down at once. And the next wave you're going to want to turn on your protection from magic, and then you just want to, you know, go to town on killing them, because they can do some serious damage. You know what? I think I'm just going to use an invulnerability crystal. That way I don't waste my prayer, because I'm probably not going to really use these crystals much. I usually don't use them during the boss fight, but they do help out a lot, because usually what I do for the boss fight, the final boss, I will keep Soul Split on, and I will just target their the magic tentacles. That way I can keep my health up and still do a lot of damage. And with the boss fight, normally you can take out 3 to 4 tentacles before he pops up out of the lava. So what I normally do is I'll turn off auto retaliate, and I'll kill the 3, then run to the center, and I'll keep spinning it around until I see where he pops up at, and then I'll go after him, just for time's sake. So now it's going to be nothing but Jad fights, and this Jad's going to pop up in the top left corner, and this is the one Jad that can attack you from over the rocks. So you want to hurry up, and you want to get as close to him as possible, and you know, just like any other Jad fight, focus on your prayer switches, and make sure you have, you know, you're poted up or overloaded, whichever way you decide to go. But if you don't use overloads and you use extreme potions, replace 3 of the shark with, you know, another set of potions. That way you can have plenty of potions to get yourself through the fight kiln. Because as you can see, I'm not even going to use all my food up. You don't even need all that food. That was just a safety precaution. Now, again, this wave, another Jad. He's going to pop up here in the corner, and you're going to want to go right for him. And now that he's using his ranged attack, switch to ranged. Like any other Jad fight, switch between protection prayers accordingly, and just, you know, don't panic. You don't need to panic. As long as you focus on your protection prayers, you will be fine. Now the next wave is the one I heard people have a lot of problems with, and really the 2 Jads are not hard to fight. As long as you stay on this side of the rock, you will be alright. Because what you want to do is you want to wait till they're both at the center. Now you want to target one of them. Make sure, normally what I would do is turn off auto retaliate. Now you just want to focus on him. Don't worry about that other Jad. Just focus on him, because if you run out there, they're both going to attack you, and you're going to die, because you obviously can't protect from 2 different attacks at the same time. So like I said, just focus on killing this one accordingly, then move on to the next one, and you will be fine. It's not a hard floor whatsoever, but like I said, I've seen on the forums a lot of people are having problems with this wave, and it's really not that hard of a wave, guys. You know, as you can see here, just focus on one, then focus on the other. Make sure you're on that side of the rock when this wave starts. You want to be on the, you know, and now that the 2 Jads are done, now we're ready for the boss fight. And I'm just going to speed through this. All it really is the tentacles pop up. You want to keep Soul Split on, and you want to target you mainly want to target his magic tentacles, but obviously that was the first tentacle that I saw was his ranged. So, and the reason why you want to target the magic ones, because you'll kill them so much quicker, but that's okay. So basically what you want to do is you want to turn off auto retaliate, and after every 3 tentacles, run to the center and see where he pops up at, and just start attacking him. And he's going to disappear after taking so much damage, because, you know, he's a pussy, so he likes to run away like a little girl. And no offense to any little girls out there, you know, I'm pretty sure there are some badass little girls out there. So, I mean, seriously, there probably are some badass little girls. You know, I have a baby cousin, and she's a badass. Let's just put it that way. But anyway, like I said, kill 3 tentacles, run to the center, keep just going around until he pops up, and then just run at him, start going to town on killing him, and you should be alright. He's not that hard of a boss. The only way you will die is if you're a total derp and you don't pay attention to your health or your prayer. As you can see, I even turned off my prayer because I need to use up these 2 restoration crystals, because I'm not about to waste the rest of my resources. I mean, I have to pay money for that stuff. You know, that cuts into my profit. So, as you can see, I even turned off my prayer because I need to use up these 2 restoration crystals, because I'm not about to waste the rest of my resources. I mean, I have to pay money for that stuff. You know, that cuts into my profit. So, as you can see, I even turned off my prayer because I need to use up these 2 restoration crystals, because I'm not about to waste the rest of my resources. I mean, I have to pay money for that stuff. You know, that cuts into my profit. So, I'm just going to turn off my protection prayers. I mean, I'm going to take some damage, but I mean, obviously I've got 2 restoration crystals left. And, you know, you might not have that coming into this boss fight. So, like I said before, he's not a hard boss. I've already got him down past half health. You know, and another thing too is when you want to keep using your threshold abilities on him every chance you get. Threshold, threshold, threshold. That way you hit him as much as you can before he decides he's going to go into the lava. And that's the one thing I really hate about it, is because he just likes to pop up randomly. And it's, like I said, you run to the center and just wait for him to pop up. He's got to pop up eventually, and there he is again. Now we're gonna go and we're gonna try to take him. We're gonna try to take him down this 10,000 health. Hopefully we can kill him real quick here. But I doubt that. He usually likes to run off when he's down to like 1k health. Yep, 2k, oh, just under 2k health. He decided he was gonna run off on me. Not a big deal. I still got plenty of resources. He'll be dead the next time he pops up. But anyway, I really hope that this guide's helping you. That's the reason why I made it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. You can message me in game. Anything really, I will be more than willing to address any concerns you might have or any questions you might have. Now, when you complete this, you can either choose a Kiln cape, which is based off of whatever style of combat you use, or an uncut onyx. I'm going to take the onyx because I've already got all the Kiln capes and the enhanced fire cape. So anyway, guys, that was the fight Kiln. Thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm also going to price check this uncut onyx for you. It's obviously, you know, it's a mill, but I keep all my uncut onyxes to fix my amulet of souls, because it takes onyx to fix. So anyway, everyone, thank you for watching again. I really hope this guide helped you out. Have a good day, everybody.